thanks for you.
Thanks a lot, guys, for joining. As we talked about, we're going to talk about you guys, recruiters, how you guys help candidates go through all the recruitment process, what value you provide as recruiters more than in-house recruitment can be. And we talked about, I mean, we know you're all independent recruiters, like you help your candidates, but I think that one of the misconception always is that you are just sending people to send people because like you need the volume to be something. Your objective is to send the volume, but I think it's like a massive misconception that you guys have, because a lot of people think that having to go through a third-party recruiter is always a bad thing, but I think it's because there is a lack of knowledge around it. So I wanted to have a little chat with you about how you guys provide all this value to the candidates. So I wanted to start by doing a quick tour on how you guys think, what you guys think is the most valuable thing that you can provide to your candidates, because you're talking with a lot of candidates daily. You have a lot of people that you help to move abroad, but what do you guys think is like the most important and the most valuable thing that you provide to candidates? I'm gonna name people, but I'm gonna start with Nick.
Well, I mean, there's mainly, I would say, experience, because we have experience in recruiting people and know what works, I would say. Helping you put together the CV, definitely, as we were speaking last time. Having a solid CV and having somebody to back you up. And to not only when you're reaching out to a company yourself, the company tends to maybe message or you're not sure if you should send the message or not, but when you have us in between, it doesn't feel like direct, and you're creating maybe a bad vibe, a bad rapport between you and the company. And between us, we can be kind of like devil's advocate, like, listen, have you got back to the candidate yet, the ones that we sent? And also they have somebody who they can trust, I would say. The company trusts, as well, because they know me, they know us. They receive so many emails, so many emails from so many people like this with us. They know that they have a candidate that is worth looking at, basically. So you're not just there with the pile of emails that they receive from all.
Yeah, that's very true. That's absolutely true. What about you, Tim? What do you think about the most valuable thing that you can provide to candidates?
Guidance, I think. Guide them through the whole process. Help them with writing their CV, getting ready for the interview, and after they're hired, what steps to take, what things to pack. Provide that, and if they're not successful, we can then say, hey, we have got other jobs in that city or in that country that you might be interested in. So it doesn't just end where they get the news, not sorry, you haven't been hired, and then they have to then put in so much time again looking for a job.
Yeah.
By the way, Linda, could you go on mute, because I don't know if you guys are hearing about.
Yeah, we can hear you typing, Linda.
Am I muted now?
No, you're speaking.
Yeah, okay, give me 2 seconds, because then my headset is not connected correctly. Sorry for that.
All right, no worries. In the meantime, Talasa, what is the thing you think is most valuable that you provide to candidates?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Nick and Tim. I think it's good for candidates to know, like, we're on your side. It's also, I mean, it's simple. It's also in our best interest that you not only get the job, but then also actually enjoy it there, that you're comfortable there, that you're happy there, not just with the job, but in the place that you live, because obviously happy employee does better work, right? So that makes the company happier. So because of that, like, we're really excited not only to help you get the job, prepare for it so that you have a better interview, but also afterwards, we want to keep in touch with you. We want to make sure that you're happy. If you do have any doubts, whether it's with the job or your living circumstances, or maybe you're a bit shy making new friends. Like all these things, even after you get the job, is something we want to help you with. And yeah, I think a lot of people are maybe not aware of that. I think it's very valuable, so it's important to know.
Yeah, you're very true. I think that's one of the misconception that I think a lot of people have, is that they think, as we talked about at the beginning, that you send people just to send people, but you actually have a way better gratification by having people that stay in this job, actually, because otherwise, I mean, if you were just sending candidates and every time they drop out after 1 month or two, like nobody would ever ask you to hire other candidates because they are not reliable. So that's in your best interest as well, that people actually stay in the job. And I think that's one of the main part that people may be confused about. How about you, Linda? What do you think the best value is that you provide for candidates?
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Perfectly.
Okay, good. So everything has basically been said, which is great. I think the fact that at least for the people working at Job Squad, everybody has tried to live abroad, worked in international settings before. So not only the CV, not only the guidance in the job interview and everything, but also just human facts about how it is. What should you expect when you move abroad? So taking some of the personal, like all the official stuff aside, some of the personal things, I think that's what adds to it. That we know what we're talking about when we say, yes, you will get homesick. Like.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's a good segue to what I wanted to hear you guys about, is that you obviously have, we all have experience about living abroad and everything. How do you guys help the candidates go through the step once they've got this job offer, once they go a lot of into the process and they actually have now to move? How do you guys help them? Do you provide with like some Facebook groups? We talked about previously how to find some local groups, or groups of local people there on site. But how do you help concretely? Concretely, no, that's not absolutely not a word. In a concrete manner, I don't know. I'm mixing French and English and everything. But how do you help them to find? Do you help them with to find location? Do you help them to find places to visit, places to actually work, or give tips? What is your best takeaway from that?
I believe, Linda, you have some Facebook groups you have put together for the candidates mainly, which I think that's definitely very helpful and big step for them to kind of get together. Maybe you can give some more details.
Yeah, that's true. Like we've talked about it last time in the last podcast as well, and Talasa, you talked about that as well. The fact that you can find Facebook groups for locals, I mean, people in your own language or people that actually live in the city that you are going to, and that is super helpful. That is very true.
Yeah, we have specific candidates, our candidates that are going there. For example, if you're going to Greece, we have our own Facebook group where you will meet somebody that I hired, for example, and you will be going to the same position. So you're going to the same experience with the person. So we introduce you to this group basically. So this is something we like to do as well to kind of help the candidates feel a bit more not alone, and also they're doing it with someone, or they're gonna have a friend even before you get there. It kind of makes it a bit more enjoyable as an experience, more than like a challenging, scary kind of thing, unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's also, between us Job Squad recruiters, we've been to so many places, and I think it's good for candidates to know that, we actually do work as a team, I believe. And so if I, for example, if I would send someone to Malta, I mean, I've been there, but I'm not an expert about the island. But I would probably shoot Linda a message like, hey, I've got someone going there, and I don't know, she's really into whatever, diving. Do you maybe, have some places that you should check out? But then on the other hand, if, I don't know, let's say Nick has someone going to Barcelona where I live, I'd be more than happy to chat to his candidate and send some, like some tips about the city. So, between all of us, we have so much experience and knowledge across Europe, that we're happy to share with everyone. We don't only care about our own candidates. I think we care about all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned it. That's true that between like everyone, we're communicating every day. So if we have any question about a specific place, we can always have backup information about it. And how do you guys think? How much importance do you give to the fact that you close to the candidate, because like you have them from A to Z? I mean, you take them from when they are searching a job to when they are actually arrived there, and even afterwards you're following with them. And how do you guys think that plays a role comparing to like someone that would just send them directly to a company without following? Because I mean, I talked about it. You taking them before they actually even when they are searching the job to afterwards when they are in the company. How do you think that plays an important role for the candidates? Oh, you're super far away, Linda. No, we can't really hear you. It's like you're in a chamber, like I don't know how many meters away. Yeah. So we lost Linda in space. Yeah, we're gonna give Linda a quick minutes to fix that. All right, go ahead, Nick.
So I would say one of the things is, let's say you started the role with the company, and you also can get some feedback from, how's it going with the company and everything. And let's say it didn't go well, or something, or they're not doing well with the companies and they want to leave. You can always look up what we have available, and you can again reapply for something that we have and the positions that we have available, and you can always do it again with us, basically. So we're always there to provide the best jobs available in Europe. So you have somebody who's working for you to find the best position for you to go to, which is always a very solid, thing to have by your side, rather than you searching, haphazardly. Somebody who knows you, knows what you're good at, and sees the positions that there are in Europe, and is able to place you and says, I think you will fit here, and this will be good for you. And obviously, you have you get to see it and get to choose for yourself. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, that means a lot. Like as you say, and Tim, also you touched about the subject, the fact that well, it's kind of not a database, but you've got like once someone applies for a job, and even if they don't get it, like you're still in the system, like you still you candidates always have the contact info. So when you see an opportunity that really fits for them, you can actually resend them the job offers and actually help them in that way. Do you team like do you had like any previous experience with candidates like that to help them getting actually another shot at another job?
Yeah, of course. I had candidates like that. Yeah. What's the question exactly?
No, it's like if you had like previous experience. You said like you had experience with candidates that you actually sent another job offer because they may have probably not had the first one, but actually could have like a second opportunity elsewhere. So how do you think that could help the candidates? Because I mean,
it helps them immensely. It saves them time to look further. And it's not always the case that they weren't successful. Sometimes they'd already applied for that job a month ago directly, and they're already in the system but never got a call for an interview. Yeah, we then
Yeah, as you said, like we talked about also in previous podcasts, that you might not be. It's not because like you don't have the qualification, but sometimes it's just not the good fit with the company to you be in that position, but you can actually fit another one, and that's why I mean you guys also play a major role in that, because you have the opportunity to you see all the job offers, so you see what fits best to the candidates, and that's true that having this whole scale of different jobs is better than just being in-house recruitment where you only have jobs in your company. Here you can have like different spectrum and help a little bit more broader candidates. We're gonna take a case like Talasa. It's been a few weeks of you working in recruitment, and did you see like a lot of people interested in the fact that you provide different jobs or different job offer, broader job offers maybe than just applying to a single company?
You're asking me if I find that people are interested in that?
Yeah, if they are like, if you think that they have a more interest in you having broader offers than maybe a single company.
I think so, because I think especially with the jobs that we're offering, to a lot of people, it's not necessarily one specific job that they really want. It's more they want the working abroad experience. And of course, if you apply for one specific job at a certain company, you have one shot. But when there is like dozens of jobs available across Europe, those are all opportunities for you. So and also people who just weren't even exactly sure what they wanted. They're like, yeah, I do want to go abroad, but my skills, my experience, I'm not sure what's available. Can you help me? So yeah, definitely, I've seen a lot of people being interested in that.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, Nick? If you've got like any same experience in that?
Sorry.
I think did you saw the same kind of interest in you having like a broader
Because I have different jobs. Yes, they come back to me. I have this guy, for example, I've been talking to him for about 4 months, and he's even sending me pictures having a drink. Hey, how are you? Because I've been sending him jobs every month, when I have something come up. And recently, I managed to send him to a position in Spain, and he's so happy about it and everything. But in the meantime, jobs were popping up, and I told him, listen, I'll keep you updated. And as soon as something comes up with his kind of role and the language he could be able to speak and the languages that these companies are looking for, I send it over to him, and he loves it. He introduced me to his brother. He's like, you'll never find a better recruiter than this guy. He's a really sweet guy, obviously. But then it tends to be basically, becomes a friendly thing, especially when it's ongoing. If this person looks like a good candidate, but he's not in these positions, he's not right. You tend to be a bit more friends with them, and they happen to become your friend. I mean, this guy is offering me as soon as he gets the job in Spain to go hang out with him in Spain. So so yeah, having different positions and different places popping up helps the candidate. If he has some time to wait, the possibility for later on getting the role exactly that he wants, and unless he's looking for a job here and now, what we have is what you will be able to work with, basically.
Yeah, that's very true. But you talked about like the follow up of candidates and everything. During also, you talked about being a bit more friendly with the candidates because you've got a closer relationship with them because you follow them for a longer period of time. Do you guys, during this whole process, do you guys like help them with different tools? We talked about like Canva, for example, for creating CVs and everything. Do you guys have any tools that you send to candidates either for, I don't know, the language skills or to craft CVs or even maybe to do kind of mock-up interviews? Do you have like some kind of tools or even exercises that you do with your candidates that can help them just to go through the process is a bit easier?
I tend to send them the English test as we need to check their English test. There's an EF English test, which is free online. So there they can see their English, and also I can show to the company I'm sending that they have a good proficiency of English, basically. I use a tool sometimes, I forgot what's it called. Basically, it gives you an overview of the living cost of the country. So if you're going to Portugal and you are from Germany, everything is more expensive there, and you're trying to tell him, he's like, oh, the salary is not great over here. He's like, okay, but compared to Germany, it's very different. You also have to pay a crazy amount of taxes. You have to pay God knows how much for the apartments that you're living in. How much to get a drink there or have some food. So it's very different. So I sent them this website where they can check, and they give them the basic cost of living, how it is in Portugal or in Greece, to make them understand like this is the living cost there. So in reality, you're going to be doing better off here than in Germany, because you're not going to be spending all that money on food and rent and taxes, you know. So you have to help them get a perspective of the country basically, you know. So that's a quite good website. I'm not sure what's it called, but I'll send it to you. Maybe you can.
Yeah, magic, second magic of post-production. It's gonna appear on the screen. Dang! Sorry for the guys listening on the podcast. You need to check out on the YouTube. But yeah, we're gonna share that. Talasa, do you have like any other kind of tools that you use or you send to candidates to help them go through all the process?
I think most have been mentioned. Indeed, Canva is just great for CVs. I think I've sent that to almost every candidate that I've talked to. And then indeed the language test. I've used the living cost website as well. One I've been using, I think, is something like Numbeo. Numbeo. I don't know if that's the same as you're talking about, Nick. But anyway, those sites are really good. Yeah, and then it's not so much tools, but just as resources, different YouTube videos that are interesting to see, or depending on which country someone is going to, if they're not so familiar with the country just yet, I'll send them some articles, and of course all the articles we have on our own website or our own videos. But yeah, if we don't have a specific topic in a specific country covered yet, I'll send them some other resources. Yeah, I mean, there's so much information out there.
Yeah, that's very true. Tim, do you have any more tools that you use compared to
your colleagues?
No, not really. I never even mentioned Canva to my candidates. They're quite lucky with me that I'll just copy and paste everything in a nicer
do it for
nicer
them.
format. Yeah, I do it for them.
It's
yeah,
definitely a great aspect.
Good value.
Yeah, so if anyone listening wants that as well, send me an email, tc@jobsquad.
Nice.
Do you guys, we touched a bit on the subject, but you guys like, we know that once the CV is validated and we go through the real interview process, do you guys help them doing like some mock-up interviews? Do you guys prepare them, having like some different tips about it? How do you guys handle and help the candidates go through that step?
For me, with all candidates, I first just have a chat with them about the job, and then when they're really interested and want to go for it, I will send them a list of about 20 questions that they might get asked, and it's just what I found online, the 20 most asked questions during job interviews, and I send them that in English because the job interview will be in English. I have them then reply to me by email all in English, and after that I do a call with them so they can practice saying it all. And I see plenty of times the first time they do it, they mess up. The second time goes better, and then third time they're like, "Yeah, I'm ready for it." So I put quite a lot of work into it.
Yeah, I tend to. I mean, I have a experience with some of our companies, basically. So I tend to stay in touch with the candidates after and ask them like, how did it go, the interview? What did they ask you? And and I learned that, for example, Forex companies, when they are doing interviews, they have the training, for example, especially Monlink, you might know. And they do training in the weekends. What they do is they give mock-up calls, so you have to stay calling and see how they do, and they tell you, listen, you have a list of people here, already existing clients, and they want to see if you can be able to sell it to them, but what they're looking for is not you, the candidate, being able to manage to do a sale, but more the persistence. So that's you persisting. You keep on doing to another call. You keep on doing, and you don't give up. So I always tell them that part of it. When you're doing this training, you make sure that you're persistent. It's not about getting the call or the sale. It's about persistence in the training. So this is something I, for example, tell. So I try to get information about the company and what they're actually looking for in the interview. And this kind of helps a bit the person when they're up for the interview, you know.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths that you guys have, is like you have a lot of feedback from candidates about how the interviews went and what they actually asked during the interviews and what actually all the process was. So you've got all this feedback that is like the real questions that they're going to be asked, so you can train your candidates to really, I mean, to fit and to answer those questions or to prepare to those mock-up exercise and everything. That's really important strengths that you guys have. Thalassa, do you do any mock-up interviews or any training with your candidates beforehand?
Yeah, I mean, whatever Nick and Tim were saying makes a lot of sense, of course. I think in addition, especially with some younger, less experienced candidates, I think it's good so that they can just practice their English a bit, because I think many of them, their English is good enough for the jobs they're applying for. It's just speaking English combined with it being an interview and they're not being that experienced, they get nervous and insecure about their English. So I think it's good to practice that with them as well, so that they just feel a bit more comfortable. Just about simple words that they know but maybe can't think of in the heat of the moment. So it's good to prepare them in that way as well.
Yeah, that's. I think. Well, you summed up really well about you helping the preparation of the candidates and helping them go through all the way. Do you guys have any other sort of tips that you give to candidates that maybe, I don't know, someone that is recruiting in-house like HR and everything can't really compete with you on that subject? Or
I would say, and there's quite a few, different points, but I think the strongest one is that as I said before, you kind of skip the queue with us, So if you have a company that, especially a big company, that receives so many emails, from so many people from all around the world, and they don't have time to bother to look all throughout all these emails to find something good in between the lines, So with us, we filter that for them. So we do receive the same amount of emails that they do, but the difference that we do is we filter all this, because this is our job basically. Unlike the company, is their job is what they do in the company, So we basically filter through all this and find the right candidates, which ideally would be you, for example. And we kind of send it to this company and in a nice little envelope, look what we have here, this, and then make you seem like the best option throughout all that list of emails that they would get. So like this, you kind of really shine out thanks to us, basically. So I think that's definitely the strongest point and the gain that you would get by working with us instead of sending directly to a company, for example.
Yeah, I think, well, yeah, we talked about it, but I think that's one of the common point and maybe common mistake that people have. But it's true that it's a kind of a positive, like the opposite of a vicious cycle. It's a positive cycle, because you guys, when you're sending good candidates, it helps the company, so the company trusted you even more. So when you are sending candidates, they are more inclined to accept them because they think that they are better candidates. And of course, all of that is just, I mean, it's always better to have to be with you on board, because of course, I mean, you've got the.
It's important to tell the people as well that it is free for them as well, because people
Absolutely.
don't realize that maybe we're trying to get money out of them somehow. This is not about that. The company pays us, just so you know, they are the ones not filtering all that stuff. We're doing it for them, and we basically are just free help for you. So it's definitely a plus for them to come to meet us.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a lot of help, and yeah, of course, you're providing with a lot of value compared to someone that would be in HR and that just needs to fill the position. Yeah, like you're here more to help the candidate go through. Any other tips or things that you guys thought along the way about how you can provide more value to candidates?
I think in addition to everything that's being said, it's just that when you apply directly with a company, of course, you can basically only show the very best version of yourself. I think when you apply to us, of course, we want to see the best version of you. But in addition, like when you have some questions, when you aren't sure about certain things, like you can be a bit more open and honest with us. And if anything, I think that's a good thing, because maybe because of that, we actually discover that maybe there's another job that would be a better fit for you, or things like that. And yeah, I think that's a lot more difficult when you apply directly with a company.
Yeah, you can build, as you said, like you build a more friendly relationship, so you can open more on what are really your strengths, like weaknesses, and the thing that you're really interested in, and so that helps you guys like find the job that fits best with the candidates. That's true. Anything else?
I have one thing I want to mention, and it's a kind of a tip for the people that are listening and thinking like, oh, I don't know if I could do a job interview in English. It's not my first language, and because I see some of my candidates get really nervous. But what I tell them is the person you're having the interview with in that foreign country, English is also not their first language, so they'll have an accent. They'll not be 100% proficient. So don't worry too much about that.
Yeah, that's true. And also, as you mentioned, like depending on the recruiters you're facing, but a lot of recruiters are recruiting people to speak English. I mean, to have a job that speaks English, but also they're recruiting people sometimes in their own language. Like I'm French, I could recruit people in France, and people speaking French. So I can also provide in the native language tips that touch them more than tips that could be said in English. So yeah, that's a good point as well. Like you can help them, and you need to remind yourself that when you are working abroad, everyone is also, so it's an environment where everyone speaks English, but not as a native language as most of the time. So that's very true. In case you have anything else, otherwise I think like we covered quite a lot, and that was like super interesting from your part. So do you guys have anything else to add? I'm gonna link. Don't worry, Tim. I'm gonna link everyone's email below, so everyone's gonna have their email with the job. No, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna link you guys' emails below, and in hope like if everyone or anyone wants to find a job abroad, they can contact you directly.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for talking, and thanks for providing all this value. That was super interesting. And hopefully you guys have a nice evening.
You too.
You too.
Job Squad, we'll find a place for you.